So hello everyone, Kami-sama here back with another video, and today I'm here joined by POS2, Head of Axie Infinity Growth and Master of Leaks. So POS2, how are you doing, man? Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me, Cami. Yeah, I'm doing well. And yeah, this is POS2. I'm a Filipino in Vietnam, and I'm working directly in the Sky Mavis HQ here in Ho Chi Minh City. And I'm excited to do this interview with Kami-sama and hopefully give more insights about me, about Axie, and about Sky Mavis to our community, especially the LATAM community. So yeah.
Well, once again, thank you, POS2, for joining us. We here in the Latin America community, you are like the bomb, man. Once you get into classic, everything change. So that's why that's my first question actually to you. Like, how did you first get involved into the game industry, and what motivates you to work on Axie Infinity? Like, how you get there?
Okay, how I got here was like I think everybody knows, right, that Axie is a culture in the Philippines. Like in 2021, like probably 8 out of 10 Filipinos know about Axie, right? So I joined. My friend sent me a message the night before my birthday and told me like, "Hey, let's play Axie." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Right? And then this guy was like, "It's a crypto game." He said it's a crypto game, and he told me like, "I know you're doing crypto." I was like, "Yeah, I was doing it in 2017, but this is a." He told me this is a crypto game, and I'm like, "Okay."
Did you play any crypto games before Axie, or it was your first crypto game?
No, it was my first crypto game. There were some games in 2017. So I was crypto batch of 2017. It was more about ICOs, right? And then this is actually the first game with an actual like with characters and sprites moving. So I was interested, right? So I looked at my wallet, and then I found out I got some airdrops from 2017. So and then I bought my first team. So like everybody will tell me, right? Like like I bought a team for like $1,000. I'm like, guys, I bought a team for $2,000 at the peak. That's my first three Axies. They cost like $2,000, right?
It was an aqua. Yeah. Do you remember the Axies?
Yes, it was an aqua aquatic Axie, a beast Axie, and a plant Axie, the classic AVP, right?
Yep.
That's like the starter team. And then I started playing on my birthday. I was playing on my birthday, and then I was getting destroyed by this reptile terminators. I don't know if you remember those.
It was my first Axie. It was my first Axie. Yeah, the Terminator.
You gotta turn me for your first Axie, dude. You're rich,
Nah, I'm just really try hard.
Yeah. So this is what happened to me, right? So I swapped my piece, I think, to a 42 speed. I still remember, right? Like 42 speed was the top of the line reptile terminator.
Yeah.
42, because the Dusk are the 46 speed. They started breeding the Dusk, but then they were like the reptile, and the top speed was 42, and they were expensive as hell, right? There were like 41 speed, 40 speed variations, but a Termi versus Termi battle, you will most probably win if you have a faster speed. So that's how I started getting my first Axies, and then there were some issues in the Philippines with like ramp, and the team wasn't really communicating with the community, and people in the Philippines were thinking they were getting like their money were getting scammed or something. It was like they're using their credit card to buy on ramp. And I sent a message to one of the Sky Mavis team members back then. And then I told him like, "Hey man, I think you should start like, communicating, right? Like tell the community that you guys are looking into it or something like that, basically just acknowledging it." And that team member told me like, "Hey, stay on your lane," basically, right? But I felt like the team was experiencing a lot of pressure back then because of the growth of Axie.
I think I don't get it. Like, stay in your lane, like
It's basically like I feel like they just told me like shut the fuck up, basically, right?
Okay,
you don't know what you're saying. It's like it was kind of aggressive, but the team member eventually and the team member and I eventually became friends when I got onboarded. So that's what I realized when at that point I was like, these guys need to be better at communicating to the community. right? There's this loophole,
That's funny.
and then
Do you remember our first interaction?
I think I do. Like I think it's on Twitter, right? We kind of back and forth. I'm like, dude, I wish I was
let me tell you
speaking.
this. Let me tell you this. Okay. So I roast Sky Mavis a lot because I have to do that because I love the game and I like to criticize the game. But I was so hyped when you joined, and I was just kidding to you with you, and when you replied to me like I mean you got mad or something, and I was so sad. I was on the stream like, dude, what? This is my first interaction with POS2. I always talk good only about him, and this is the guy who actually gets mad at me, bro. That was so fucking funny. I actually have the VOD in my PC just because it was a really fun moment for me.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, I'm not really mad at the community, right? Like, sometimes they just, fight back. I think being a good community person is like being stoic and everything,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes some, I love getting feedback, but some of the feedback, like, not you, for example, like, not you specifically, there's some feedback that are just really bad. And sometimes you got to tell them,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I
bro,
know.
that's just straight up bad, right? Yeah, I think it's part of being a community person. So, yeah. But yeah, I don't have any enemies or whatever. I'm not mad at anyone in the community. Sometimes I love people
Yeah.
talking shit to me, to be honest. Like, I grew up playing Dota in the Southeast Asian servers. Nothing
You're
can
like
break me.
Thorfinn. You're like
And
Thorfinn. You know Thorfinn?
yeah,
Yeah, you don't have
I think
any.
it's from anime.
Yeah, from the
Yeah,
anime.
yeah. I don't have from the animes. Yeah, I don't have enemies. Basically, like, I just love talking shit to people, and they love talking shit to me. Especially on Discord, like, there's a classic channel there, and I talk trash to ESA team members, like YG team members, and
Yeah.
they talk trash to me too, and I like it. So yeah, that's how I going back to me joining Sky Mavis. That's one of the things I noticed, right? Like, I think the team needs to get better at communicating to the community, right? Like, imagine the whole country of the Philippines was experiencing this problem and thinking their money was going to
When did you join?
was going nowhere.
When did you join? Because
I joined in 2021.
2021.
I think it was like
Also a long
August
time ago.
2021.
But
A long time ago.
Did you start hearing from you like I don't know, like 6 or months ago or something like that? Like maybe a year?
Yeah, that was. I initially joined as a support team member. But back then I was before that I was working for Uber. So I just joined the team, like supporting member, and then became a support team lead. And
Awesome.
eventually, Gio told me to get out of the support team and join the Go team. So now here I am leading the Axie Go team, which my experience in support actually I think helped a lot with my growth role right now, because like being in the support team, it allows you to communicate with the community, which is I think as a Go team member that's the most important thing, most important skill that you need to develop.
Nah, you're doing great, bro. Like I say, like I want to be honest with you. I talked shit about Axie Infinity a lot, but specifically you, I have you really high. Like I think you're doing an awesome job. Like every single decision that the classic team has made since you're working with them, it's been amazing. At every single, like I don't know, the level 2 parts, the Coliseum, the mini tournaments, the Guild War, everything. It's so good and so enjoyable that I think you just by yourself and with the team changed my entire perspectives of Axie Infinity and the Sky Mavis team. So I'm grateful with you just for that, and just keep the good work, man. You deserve to be there where you are.
Appreciate those words, man.
Yeah, so do you have like any inspiration, like anyone who inspires you in your professional career, or like I don't know, influence your work?
Yeah, my main inspiration actually is my boss, right? Like Gio.
Yeah.
Gio's work ethic is another level, dude. Like, yeah, we're sending messages like we're working during Christmas, and Like people in the community might think like, yeah, these guys like, the sea level, the Sky Mavis sea level are, chilling. But no, like Gio is out there sending me like tweets of things that needed to be fixed, and appreciate that, right? For Gio, his inspiration, his leadership, his work ethic inspire me the most, and also our CEO Chung. Chung sometimes send me messages out of nowhere, right? Like, and what I love about Chung is like when he sends me a message of what I could improve on, he gives solutions to. Like,
Yeah.
Here's a tweet that you need to read. Here's a thread that you need to read. Here's a video that you need to watch in order for you to solve that problem that I just mentioned. So yeah,
Yeah, I was talking
I
to
really
him,
love.
and he's like try harding Axie Infinity. Like he's try harding Sky Mavis. He's like treating the whole company as a game, but he's really serious about it, and he's try harding to be the best. That's what he told me today earlier. And based on what you're saying, it's basically that he's super try hard. He's always working, but he's such a nice person as well.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that. Gio is a tryhard. Work ethic's probably the same as Kobe Bryant. Yeah, that's why I respect him so much.
Well,
If your boss is actually working,
yeah,
like 24/7, you will work too.
he's more like a leader
We'll
for
try to
you.
catch it.
So
Yeah.
that's the important part. Well, I have this question here, but you already answered this. It's what skill or past experience do you think best prepare you for your current role in Axie Infinity? You already told me that it was your past role in Axie Infinity in support, right?
I think one of the experiences I also think helped me a lot was my upbringing, right? Like I grew up really poor in the Philippines. Like when I was in grade school, I don't know if do you know polvoron?
No, I
There
don't.
it, that, oh yeah, it's like a candy in the Philippines. So when I was in grade school, I was selling that, like I was walking and selling that to the public market, and my brother and I, we would go to random parking lots and then find some scrap metals, right? So I think what I'm trying to say is like my upbringing allowed me to suffer, right? And suffering made me like who I am today, right? Like I can whatever challenge that the community or Axie will experience, that will not break me anymore. Because when I was a kid, failing was never an option, right? If I won't be able to sell these candies, if I won't be able to find scrap metals, then my brother will get hungry and my family will not eat anything. It will just be noodles on top of rice, like carbs on top of carbs, which is really bad. So, yeah, I think, though that experience like taught me to become resilient. And that's why whenever a task is assigned to me, like classic, I wanted to succeed because failing is never an option for me. I want everything that I do to succeed because it's a matter of like getting hungry or a matter of life and death. And yeah, that's I think that's the most important experience that I was able to to learn at an early age, and I still bring that today.
Bro, that's awesome that you managed to go from there to where you are today. Like I said before, you deserve it because of your mentality and you actually caring about the game, about the project itself. So, well, being said that, how do you handle high pressure moments or challenges within the project? Well, like you said before, there's no like losing option basically.
Yeah, I think whenever there's a challenge, I just go into this mode where I remember I was a kid, right? I close my eyes and remember I was a kid. All right, this is the same situation. You have candies in your hand. How would you sell it? Like, what would you do? You still like it's almost dark. You still have like 10 packs of candies to sell. What would you do, right? You just try to imagine the moment, and yeah, it whatever those high pressure situations. They're nothing, to be honest. It's like my home court.
Yeah.
I love challenges, and
And how old
yeah,
were you when that happened to you when you were selling candies?
I was like 6 or 7 years old.
Oh my.
So I learned empathy at a young age, right? Like
Yeah.
that's why I can say like I think I can hang, like I can develop like relationships with all kind of people, and then I I learned empathy at a young age because I was selling these candies when I was 6 or 7, and some people in the markets who were also struggling was buying the candies from me because they felt bad that this 7 year old kid, you know, while it was
Yeah.
raining, was selling these candies. So there's this I learned that empathy, being able to connect to persons, to the community at a young age, and it really helps me. I can see their perspective, right? I know how to wear their shoes, not just my perspective, the Sky Mavis perspective. That's why I think Classic is doing well because I always wear the community shoes. Like, okay, if we ship this feature, what would I feel, right? What would the community
Yeah.
feel about it?
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like
That's awesome, man. And from that, from there to where you are today, what would you consider is your like greatest accomplishment so far?
my greatest accomplishment so far. I think it's bringing back Classic, right? Um, because as we know, like especially in the Philippines, whenever they think about Axie, it's all about Classic,
It's
right?
all of
Like
it.
I was in the Philippines. I was in the Philippines a month ago. I was speaking at a conference, and then the photographer, it was an old man. He sat beside me. I'm like, sir, I still have these Axies, and I was playing Classic. Do you still have quits? I'm like, oh, you played Classic and you hated quits. Yes, sir, I hated quits. That's what he told me. So bringing Classic back was, for me, it was a personal mission, and I think it started when we ran a tournament, even before the comeback, and then we saw that there's like 30,000 players, Axie Classic players, still active, without rewards, without anything, just playing the game for the love of the game,
I
and yeah,
remember
we brought it back.
I remember the news of the coming back of Classic, and I remember seeing the like the post where you guys were explaining the Cursed Coliseum. Bro, I jump into my computer and I turn on the stream and I play for straight up 12 hours Cursed Coliseum. It was amazing, and it was permitted to multi-account at that moment because there was only like one. You could only play like one Coliseum for every account. So I didn't have other running or whatever, but I created all of the running just to be able to play on stream for 12 hours straight, and it was amazing. It was the best feel ever because when I started my YouTube channel, I started because some friends like needed some information about Axie Infinity, and I was already inside of the project. But then I started to create those videos just because I like to play, I like to compete, I like to create new strategies. But when we moved to Origins, I kinda lost that feeling because the sensation when you're playing Origins is not the same as Classic. You don't feel that like you're like outplaying your rival, right? That
Okay.
feel of
Yeah.
outplaying your rival, like reading his mind, that is amazing. And putting that into a video, like explaining what you're going to do next and what your opponent is going to do next, is amazing. So when Classic came back, I started to do videos once again because I stopped doing that for Origins. It's not I don't like the game, I just don't like making videos for it because it's a different feel. But yeah, it was one of the best things that actually happened to me as a content creator, the coming back of Classic. So yeah,
Yeah.
I agree that it's your greatest accomplishment.
Yeah, and I agree with you too, right? The outplay and the bluffing mechanic in Classic is what makes it so good, right? Like you can bluff your enemy basically,
Yeah.
like you can serve your energy for next round, and I think it's like this game is for the ultra like competitive players. If you just want to chill, maybe you can play Origins, and but if you're like a really competitive player, like really you want to have a lot of outplays, a lot of big brain moves,
And
then Classic is the game for you.
if you think it from the outside, Classic is simpler than Origins. It has simpler mechanics. It's easier to learn. It's easier to play because you don't have runes, charms, eras, whatever. But it's just you need to be better at the game. You need to understand your rival. You need to understand certain situations in a different level. So even though the game itself is like easier, it's at the same time harder to get to a peak where you are really good at the game. So yeah, I
Yeah,
really
it's like
enjoy
easy to
Classic.
learn. It's like easy to learn, hard to master.
Yeah,
Right.
basically. So, how do you see the future in gaming and cryptocurrency industry over the few years?
Are you referring to the entire industry as a whole,
I
or
mean,
more on?
let's focus the question on esports. Okay, how do you see your how do you see the future of esports gaming in Web3 for the next years?
I feel like, yeah, I don't know if you saw the post of Chiho about esports and Web3. He was
Okay.
saying like, okay, he was saying like basically like if a Web3 game is making an esports title in Web3, I think like Web3 is not ready for that right now. Especially like esports titles like Valorant, CS:GO, more on the FPS
Yeah.
side. Um, that's why I see a lot of future in Axie Classic as an esports, because I was in a lot of events where, for example, you in AxiCon
I was,
in
yes.
Barcelona?
Yes.
Okay, you remember the crit when Thunder got critted,
Of
right?
course, I
By
was right
by
there, like in first row.
Yeah, no, yeah, we all like, whenever I go to Axie Classic LAN events, that's always the same feeling. Like people are shouting, people are like crying even, and that's what I think an esports title is, right? So I feel like we have an esports title in Axie Infinity, and I'm really excited with what the future of esports and Classic is. So we have a circuit right now, and I'm actually going to Latin America
Yeah.
for hopefully see you there, bro. So there's a guild war coming, and I'll be there. And right now it's just Southeast Asia and Latin America, and the World Cup happening probably in Southeast Asia, just because there's most of the player base,
Yeah,
and
of
it's
course.
easier to execute things there, right? So I'm already planning for the second edition, and that's why, like, if you have ideas on what we could do better, I feel like the guild wars are not where we want them to be right now. There's some issues, there's some rules that we should have
Yeah,
set in the
it was
beginning.
kind of slow. I did watch the whole thing because I'm the official caster in Spanish, so I did watch the whole
Mhm.
show, and it was like 1 a.m. for me till like 10 in the morning. Uh, Games were great. I think the spirit of both teams. I remember like the fight from Isa and YGG. Like you know what I'm talking about. Um,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and it was so fun to watch, but it was really slow. So I think for a LAN event, maybe for people there it's good, but for the viewer outside, it's kind of boring, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely agree. So we need to get better at that. Hopefully, we will find some adjustments during the LATAM LAN.
I think one thing you
Yeah,
guys should do for like events big like as big as these ones is to add not only the tournament itself but like fun games in between, like in League of Legends when they do like 1v1s, or they do, I don't know, like, oh, we are going to play a fun swap role game while we wait for other players. So you have the public entertained while the actual
Mm.
players prepare for the game, because of course they need time to prepare, they need time to think of their strategy and so on. So I think that's a cool way to fill the gaps between games.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Like, keep the games coming, right?
Yeah,
Basically, there's just always a game on stream, right?
basically
Yeah, I'm gonna
basically
forward
that.
it to the team.
Yeah, I think it's such a nice way to keep the public entertained. What we actually do is we start to doing giveaways in the pauses, and people go crazy with that, and they really like it. Of course, they're getting free stuff. Um, okay, so we are moving to the quick fire round. I'll ask you 10 quick questions, and you have 5 seconds to
Sure.
answer each one of them. Are you ready for those?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, so What was your first favorite video game?
Dota.
Dota? Okay,
Dota.
cool. I'm a League guy, so we're going to fight there. Okay, what inspires you more, technological innovation or creativity in games?
Creativity in games.
Creativity in games. A video game character that you admire or that you really like.
Shadow Fiend, Nevermore in Dota.
Okay. I don't know him. I'll search for him. Would you rather develop games or play them?
Develop games and play them too.
No. You need to pick one.
Right?
For the rest of your life, you have to or develop games or play them. There's no middle ground here.
Develop games.
Develop games. Oh, that's interesting. If you weren't working in gaming, what industry would you like to work in?
Law.
In law.
Probably law. Yeah, probably law.
This is okay, bro. That's a big answer. Okay, so biggest challenge for Classic in 2025.
Artifacts.
Yeah, let's go, bro. Yeah. Okay, is blockchain the future of gaming? Yes or no?
Yes.
Your favorite Web3 game outside of running?
Nothing.
No one. Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, I'm not really playing outside running.
Okay, cool. So inside of running, not Axie Classic. Tell me one outside of Axie Classic. In running.
Pixels.
Okay, a community game. Cool. One piece of advice for someone looking to start in gaming industry.
Be hungry, be resilient.
Be hungry, be resilient. What video game would you recommend to someone who's never played one before? You can give me one crypto game and one Web2 game.
Axie Classic.
Yep.
And
Please don't say Dota.
no, I'm not gonna say Dota anymore. Starting now. Probably Wukong.
Wukong. Okay, cool. So no game of the year for Wukong. Okay, but okay, yeah, sure.
No game of the year.
Okay.
They got robbed.
Yeah, I was all in Balatro. I don't know if you play Balatro, but it was a bomb, bro. It was amazing. So we're moving into the controversial questions. They are not that controversial, but let's call them that. So, do you think Axie Infinity is truly accessible to everyone?
Not yet. Yeah, earlier this year, right? It would have been really hard for you to start playing Axie. You won't even know where to go, right? You can just go to app.axieinfinity.com and then you will get lost. Like, what should I do, right? But when we shipped the delegation feature, few months ago, or is it a month ago? It allowed us to make onboarding campaigns projects like the Axie Adoption Center, where you can just go to the website and then basically answer some questions, and you will be delegated some Axies that you can start with. And I don't know if you know, but in Classic right now, too, the onboarding is so much simpler, right? So if the game detects that you're,
I'm sorry.
Go on.
You mentioned that like the biggest challenge in 2025 was going to be artifacts, right? Right now, the level of artifacts is the only factor like preventing new players from being able to compete in Classic. But I know you think this is a problem because you mentioned it. Like how you guys are going to address this?
Yeah, I just talked to the team. We've been talking about this, and we acknowledge that this is a problem, right? Like, because of course the top of the leaderboard will always be players with like level 4 artifacts.
Yep.
And we want player progression because we think that's important, but it's a double-edged sword. Yeah. Where new players are going to get beaten by these players. So yeah, we are looking for a smart solution. I think once season 7 is done, we are going to think about this more. But what do you think though? How would you solve this?
I don't really know the answer to this. I ponder about this with I have like a friend who was like a top player in classic in the past, and he wanted to came back and play once again. But once he saw the problem with the artifact, he didn't want to go for it because he was going to play in a disadvantage every single time, and he wanted to be top one, of course, right? So I think we are seeing this problem as well in like Origins, where if you don't have the levels, if you have to have the better runes or whatever, the better upgrades, that is it's going to affect the games. That's why I really like how you guys are implementing level 2 parts. They are not necessarily like a better part or an upgrade. They are just like another set of cards that you can choose from. And I think artifacts, you should be able to buy them, and that's it. That's it. Like,
Yeah,
they
I think
should be capped.
they
They should be capped at level, I don't know, the level of the season, but then you should be able to buy them.
Yeah, I think that's the solution that we have right now. If you just started classic, like your friend, right? If he wants to go top one, then he needs to buy them, right? Because
Yep.
the players would now have level 4 probably grinded a lot of times. So if you want to skip that part, then you can just buy them. But yeah, we want to find a more elegant solution.
Yeah, I know, but it's kinda
Maybe
hard.
combining a lot of things. It's kind of hard, but yeah, I think Artifact is a nice way of rewarding player progression. But it opened this problem that
Are
we
there
need to
like
solve, and
any
we are on.
solutions on the table right now? Like any
I think
ideas?
one of the solutions is, I think one of the solutions is like what you mentioned, right? Buying it straight up. Like if you
This one.
want, like, yeah, level, like if your friend wants to compete it, you be a top one player. All right, open an account, then buy it straight to level 4.
Yeah, and
But
there's
we
another
want it to
problem
be
that
more.
hasn't like. What happened if I lost my account? That happens a lot of times in crypto, right? So if I lost my account, I got hacked or whatever, for whatever reason, I want to change my running, or I don't know. Or I was on a scholar and then I moved to my personal account. I have to go from zero. So there's need to be a way for us to get the artifacts. I know it's like buying them is kind of like, well, okay, so like every other game
No,
out
no,
there.
no, no.
But
That's a valid concern, dude. I also told the team, right? Because for example, the old scholarship model, right? Especially now with delegation in, scholars want to graduate, right? And they want to make their own accounts. And we are actually not enabling that because the scholars will just stay as scholars, which we don't want. The reason behind the scholarship is that there's an idea of them graduating
yeah,
where they will eventually have their own accounts. But they're limited because they just want to stay in the account because hey, I have level 4 artifacts there. If I start my own account, I will start from zero, which is a problem, right? We want them to have their own accounts. So yeah, don't worry, I'm on it. Once season 7 is shipped, I will look into these things and find solutions. And of course, I will ask feedback from you,
right.
from the community, so that we can, as you notice, right? Classic is like a community game.
Yeah.
I'm not like I tell you straight up. I tell the community straight up, hey, this is a problem, and we don't have answers right now. Maybe you guys can help us, and that's why I asked you.
Well,
I always
I
ask
think
the
we need
community,
to
and then
be careful with that as well, right? Like
Mhm.
on who you actually listen to. I mean, it's fine to listen to the community, but people is never going to be like happy 100%. Like it's there's no world when 100% of the people are happy with the decisions, right? So I think you need to hear like top players and the most important players on guilds, or people who has like a gaming pass that can actually give you a good feedback. Like hearing everyone, I don't think it's that safe. Just
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
way I see it.
That's what, yeah, that's why most of the questions are being asked in the guild leader Discord,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's right.
I know you're there, and most of the players, most of the guild leaders there, and the members there are pro players, and I have some people, I have some team members who are like collecting all the feedback,
Yeah.
and then
And
we pick the best ones. So it's sort of like
yeah, because I think the other, I mean, it's not a problem. It's just a matter of interest. Like there are players inside Axie Infinity and there are investors inside Axie Infinity, right? So they both have like different things that they want, and we have to find like a middle ground. So yeah, that is like the main goal, I believe.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay, so I want to talk about, like, we're talking about like problems and solutions, and I want to talk about like the. Do you believe like splitting an already reduced user base across like multiple games could negative impact the player experience and competitiveness? Like, for example, Cursed Coliseum. You guys launched Cursed Coliseum, and it was only on coins, I believe, like on gold. And then you guys divided that into SLP and gold. I remember like getting into round 12, because at that time it was round 12, and finding someone on round 1, because you guys need to balance the queue times with how many players do you have, and then you guys split that and split more the community. I mean, not the community, but the player base. Don't you think that that creates like a problem?
Yeah, of course. The problem you mentioned is exactly the problem that we have, right? Like you have like a for now it's like a round 7 Coliseum, and then you will face like a team of uh, round one team, which doesn't make sense, right? But yeah, I think the problem is like the player liquidity, right? So we that's another problem that we need to solve too. But the problem is, should we focus more effort on Cursed Coliseum, or would you rather have all the level 2 parts? Which do you think is the best? Is the direction? If you were in the team, which route would you take? Right? Would you rather have
I mean,
level 2 parts as soon as possible?
The problem is like I'm biased with Cursed Coliseum. I really love the game mode. I don't know if you saw my community proposal for Axie draft like months ago. That was for Origins. And that was a community proposal I did. And Cursed Coliseum is it's kinda that. It's on classic, which is even better. Right now, I don't like Cursed Coliseum so much, just because you guys are testing the level 2 parts there, and you guys need to do that, and it's fine. It's a smart decision, but from the player experience, I can pick a team of Axie who has like, I don't know, like a Scaly Spear and Scarab and Nemo. I know I'm going to get those parts every single game. So the cursed part is not there anymore. It's just like a leaderboard. So for me, there should be like another way to do it. We need to find other solutions, if you ask me. Now, level 2 parts, I think you guys are too scared to make a mistake. That is my take. And it's fine to make mistakes. It's fine to release overpowered cards. And if players go and buy them knowing that they are overpowered, and then you guys have to change that, it's not your fault. And players need to understand that. Like, that's what they did with Origins the first 4 seasons or 5 seasons. There was like those big patch changes at the start of every season, where every card was changed, and players just needed to adapt, because it was a beginning. It was the beginning of the game, and the game needed to balance itself. So I think Classic needs to do the same. You guys need to launch the cards to give us
On Arena?
on Arena. Yeah, I think you guys need to do that. You guys need to release the cards. You need players to test them. The only way to know if a card is good or no is on the leaderboard. Like, for example, I think there's a new like backdoor. I don't know. It was Tri Spike. I don't remember the card.
I think it's Scaly Spear.
Yeah,
I think it's Scaly Spear.
Is also a new mechanic, like a new backdoor. I cannot test if that is good on Cursed Coliseum. I cannot play with a like a level 2 team and try that. And that's the only real way for you guys to find feedback, is with having your community to support you guys. And I think it's fine if you guys release something that is overpowered, or something that is broken, or something that is not working, or something that is bugged. I mean, it's part of gaming, and I understand like most of the community maybe not agreeing with me in this specific idea, but I really think that's the way to go. Like, just throw the cards there, let's see what happens, and maybe for the big tournaments and stuff, you can like ban level 2 parts. Like, okay, so not level 2 parts allow, only level 1, like maybe things like that, right? But yeah, I do think we need to test the cards on Arena.
Yeah, and that's an interesting perspective, and it's a really good feedback, right? I see your point, because not all people will play. The magic of Cursed Coliseum is now lost,
Yeah.
because it was fun when oh shit, I'm gonna get like 3-0 cost cards, which is going to be funny, right? But now it's just you just we're using the Cursed Coliseum mode as a testing ground for the level 2 parts, and the magic was lost there, and you want the testing to be on Arena, on the leaderboard, which is an interesting perspective. And
The other
I'm
way
gonna, I'm
you
gonna
guys
talk to the
have
team.
to try that is like in the middle ground, right? Like Origins have their esports mode. You guys may have like, if I challenge you to a game, I can use my level 2 parts, so I can try there. And that's another way to test if, okay, so this is working. Maybe even like when you pick your team, if you are challenging someone, like, I don't know for how long you can do that, but maybe if I don't have the level 2 part, maybe I can upgrade it inside of the game and try it for like the demo season, for like maybe a week. It's available to try the level 2 new part, like just clicking on the card. I don't know how hard this is to program, of course, because there's
I see you.
but there's another way to do that.
Yeah, I agree, and I will talk to the team. I think that's valid, right? If I want to play with if I want to test this new level 2 combo, I should be able to do it without doing it in Cursed Coliseum, right? So yeah, I'm taking notes, and I'm gonna talk to the team about it. Always appreciate your feedback, bro.
No, thank you. It's so nice to see that you guys are open to hear like the community, because like no one has the answers. We have the problems and we all want to solve them, but no one really knows what's going to happen. That's why I'm saying you guys need to not be so much afraid of the public opinion of players when releasing cards. It's going to be controversial. It's going to be people who like the card, and it's going to be people who don't like the cards. But the only way to know if they work or not is just like by playing the game itself, right? So
Agree.
I already asked you about this. It was the thoughts on the future of the scene, of the competitive scene of Axie Infinity. But do you guys have like any ideas of like a new circuit after the guild war? What it's going to happen? What do you want to create for the future of the esport? How do you see like Axie Infinity in 5 years? I know this is a lot, but like, imagine in a perfect world, what's your ideal situation for the esports?
For me, I think after this circuit, of course, I believe there will be another circuit, right? I want the Axie Classic circuit to be a yearly thing, right? And my grand dream is like a Copa Mundial for Axie.
Yeah.
Like, right? I want like the best players of Venezuela, the best players in Argentina is like representing your country, your flag. Like, all right, let's fucking settle this, right? The Filipinos are saying they're the best classic players, maybe just because we have a lot of classic, Axie players. But let's settle this once and for all. And that's my grand dream, right? Players on stage representing their country and their flag, playing the game they love. Yeah, that's my goal for esports.
Would you say that's the ultimate goal for Axie Classic, or you guys have like something else prepared? Like, I don't know, game modes, new mechanics, new whatever. Is there something new that it's coming to Classic in the future?
I think we want to keep classic as classic, right? Like I think we just want to implement part evolution and let meta evolve from there. I don't know what your thoughts about it there. Like there's also it also poses a question, right? Like in World Cup, in LAN events or in tournaments, do we want artifacts? Do we want if there will be other things added? Do we want them
I
in the game
think I
during
think
tournaments? Or yeah,
the play in the last Axie Infinity tournament, I don't remember who did it, but it turned his plant into an aqua to not get the last stand, so the opponent couldn't get the speed up and the attack buff from the risky fish. That was insane to watch. It was amazing. It was so smart because usually with artifacts the thing is you use your artifact and your opponent counters with his artifact and that's it. But it was magical, bro, to see that play, and I think artifacts are good for the game and it's a really cool mechanic. So we need to stick with artifacts. I think it was a big W to implement them. I think my biggest issue with level 2 parts are not level 2 parts itself. Like as of right now, like I said, most of the level 2 parts are weaker than the level 1, which is okay. They don't need to be like weaker or stronger or whatever. They just need to be cards. But I'm worried about like every other single like TCG game, like Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, I don't know, Hearthstone, Legends of Runeterra. What they have in common is that they are constantly implementing new mechanics, right? Like new cards, new card sets. So what is going to happen when we have all the level 2 parts and we cannot implement more cards into the game? I don't believe in like balancing or changing the cards over and over just to refresh the game. So I think level 2 parts need to happen. I also think that right now Classic it's a really simple game that like we talked about this before, and we need new games mechanics. The game needs to get deeper and deeper and more complex with time. That happens to every single TCG. If you play like Magic the Gathering 20 years ago, it was really simple. Like you tap your land, you play your creature, you attack, and that's it. Now you have cards with a lot of text and a lot of mechanics because like power creeping is a thing in TCGs. So yeah, I think working on that mechanics like morale, like last standing. I want to see a beast having 10 last stand bars, right? And having to see the Oranda effect. Like I want to see a beast like beast cards like, oh okay, so this one is going to add you one last stand bar, and this one is going to add you another last stand bar, and this one is going to boost your morale before the cards of your enemy hits you, so you guarantee your last stand. I want to see those mechanics to shine because I think the game is unbalanced. I mean, if you play in a competitive scene, the game is going to look balanced because players are going to play aquas, dawns, plants and dusk, and that's it basically. You're not seeing bugs outside of the CR7 or the God bug. I don't know how you guys name it there, but that's the only bug where basically people play. There's no mechs, there's no beast, there's no bugs. Now we're starting to see dawns, which I think is really cool. But yeah, we need new game mechanics, and it doesn't matter if they don't work at first or if they look kind of crazy. We need to test them, and that's the only way to progress in the game. That's what I believe.
That's yeah. I really love your perspective, right? Because like I feel like most of the classic community like changing things and adding mechanics. They like even changing the Axie to the new look, just to the main reason behind it, which is to centralize everything, right? Because eventually level 2 parts will be there, and for you to easily identify if an Axie has level 2 parts, if he can like cheese you, is to implement level 2. And that simple move alone, like, the community was so mad about it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just really happy to hear that there's a segment of our community like that are welcoming to changes and, mechanics, addition of mechanics, because you think
Don't get me wrong. Don't
they're
get me
needed.
wrong. If you guys release something crazy, I will roast that and I will criticize that, but I will enjoy it.
I will watch that.
Yeah, that's the thing in games. We need to to have that, and I think it's going to be great if you guys start doing things like that. Just throw the cards, throw the mechanics. The demo season it's something really really cool you guys are doing, and you can always go back. There's a magical button to just go back. And okay, this doesn't work. Let's try something else. What's the problem on that? I know what people are going to say, like, oh, but I just bought this really cool Axie, or I just breed this really cool Axie. Well, that happens in all TCGs, right? You go and buy some really expensive cards and then they ban them, or then they release a new card that is better and the prices drop. I mean, we're just playing a game. I know there is like all the economics like involved, but if you are focusing on economics, you should not be focusing on having like a new cool Axie to play. So there are two different things for me. As I don't know what's your perspective there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, right? That's why we always like add a disclaimer, especially for level 2, right? I always highlight it, guys, this is not final, right? I don't want you guys aping, for example, on a card that you think is strong, and then you guys will blame me at the end of the day, right? This is not final. This is we're just testing.
Let's not blame anyone, but who the fuck designed the new antenna card, the bug signal card? The one that if you change, it discards you, it gives you a card, it fucks you in the ass, and do a lot of other stuff.
I think it was bugged, right? I'm not sure. Antenna just discards, right? Level 2, if you chain it, they will discard.
No. It will discard, and it will give you one card as well.
Dude, that's obvious. Yeah, I haven't checked all the cards.
That's fucking OP, bro. I mean, if you have like an antenna team, you are going to be happy, of course. I mean, I don't know. I have to test it. When I saw the card, it was like, holy shit, this is broken as hell, dude. But I want to try it before saying like anything, right? In paper, it seems really strong. But like I say, you can like add those like really strong mechanics, and in order to balance that, you don't have to erase the mechanic itself. You can boost another like card drawing effects like Hail or things like that. So you can balance the game instead of like nerfing the card. But it was really really cool to watch it. The card that was bugged, it was Tiny Dino that gives you like 100.
Tiny Dino.
So, yeah.
Yes, I saw 700. I saw 700 shield Tiny Dino. It was crazy. So
yeah.
I think
I saw some screenshots of people getting like 1,000 shield with T-shell, like deleting the enemy bug with one card. It was so fun, bro. But yeah, I mean, bro, this has been a long conversation. It just took me like, I don't know, 20 minutes with Geos, and this only shows how I believe like you really care about Classic, and I'm happy to see that, because I also love the game. It's what I do for a living, it's what I do every single day. I stream the game, I make videos, I analyze things, I do community proposals. That is my life. So seeing someone and in your role, in your position, that really cares and loves the game so much, it's really cool. What was my last question? I don't think I need to. I don't think I need to question to do this question anymore. you know, it was a joke that why is Classic better than Origins? But what are the differences? I think we don't have to go there anymore. It seems clear that you really like Classic, and
Personally, yes.
yeah,
Yeah. But I feel like, I think they cater to different audience. As I said earlier, right? Like, I feel like if you're a tryhard and if you really love plays and bluffing and just being big brain, play Classic. If you want to chill on your couch and, just enjoy playing with your Axie, see the interactions of runes and charms, then play Origins. That's where my stand is. And I'm the kind of person who loves big brain.
let's change the question
So
to what's your favorite, like, through history Axie team, like Axie Classic team, favorite Axie team to play.
All right, my favorite Axie team is one of my first teams. It was like, do you know the Babylonia Perch Babylonia Aqua?
Yeah, I know.
The one where you need to time if an Axie is idle so that you can use the combo.
Yep.
That's one of the first Axie team that I loved, and I had a 42 speed Terminator backline and then a plant front line, and that's one of the teams that I really loved because I need to time the combo, and yeah, that's what made me fall in love with Classic, right? And then the enemies, I love it when my enemy reads my bluff. They put like the 0 cost card in their front Axie just for me to
And
attack it.
before the return of Classic in like the other seasons, like season 18 and the last season of Classic, what was your like highest rank?
I was in the top 100. I think when I joined the team, I was in the top 100, and I feel like if I'm not in Sky Mavis, I could have been competing. I mean, I could have been competing professionally if I wanted to. That's why I always joke to Chan, like, Chan, you keep dominating. That's why that's because I'm working in Sky Mavis. And if I wasn't working in Sky Mavis, I could have been.
I just joined YGG for the next season of Classic, so I'll be playing
Oh,
Chan, which I believe is the best player in all Axie Classic. I think he's such a beast, bro.
Chan is crazy.
Yeah.
Chan's a beast.
He's
Oh, so he's joining YGT, bro. Bro, I'm gonna probably. I don't want to jinx it. I'm probably gonna see you in Latam then.
Bro. That's a bro. That's a. I'm moving to Spain. In February. I was trying to delay it, so I'll be here for the Latam event, but I don't think I'm going to make it. But I'll try. I'll try to. But it's just because I'm moving to Spain in the next month. So yeah, I don't know.
My thought was they recruited you because they wanted to play you in the land that because I feel like the top guilds are recruiting top Latin American players right now to prepare for the Latam land. That's my idea.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't know. It was a sudden change. Like 2 weeks ago, I didn't know I was moving to Spain, and I was already on YGG.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe I'll come back or something. I don't know for sure, but I'll try to. I want to meet you in person and to play some Classic. So the last question of the interview, you have answered this multiple times in the podcast, in the interview, but it's the name of the section. So what's next for Axie Infinity Classic in 2025?
I think just like what you've said, we want to explore deeper mechanics, but also maintaining Classic as Classic so that players will be able to understand it. We also want to complete part evolution because I think our implementation as part evolution is really good. It's not locking you to. It's more of a mind game before another mind game, right? Which is nice because so if for the viewers, if you don't know how the level 2 will be, so for example, me and Kamisama, we saw it. We find each other in queue, and I will see Kami's team. And then we will have like 1 to 2 minutes, 60 seconds maybe of adjusting, picking the cards we want to play So there will be bluffing even before the real bluffing, right? Maybe I will
Yeah,
bluff
yeah.
Tommy and he will bluff me. So that's what classic implementation for part level 2 is. That's why I cannot wait for that to happen. Because I think it's adding another level of mind game and deeper gameplay to the game. So that's the most important thing for classic in 2025. Part evolution, and then of course the World Cup, the Axie Classic World Cup, and then the start of the new circuit.
Do you have any final words for the audience?
Yeah, final words. Right. So yeah, I just want to thank the community, right, for always sharing their feedback, their thoughts, for talking shit to me on Twitter, on Discord. I love people talking shit to me, and then I talk shit back to them. I think it's just a Dota player in me, and yeah, don't be afraid to tag me or send me DMs for suggestions. Like maybe you just want to rant, like hey, I could have won, but my enemy at the level 4 artifact.
Yeah.
I hate you, I fucking hate you, POS2. Yeah, it's okay. I can be the punching bag with that. And, I'm probably gonna react it with the message. But yeah,
Yeah.
I love you guys. Let's bring classic to classic is the game we love, and it's the best Web2 game out there in my opinion, and
It is.
yeah.
Okay, so thank you
excited for the
everyone
future.
to make in the if you guys made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much. Remember to leave a comment, to subscribe, and to leave a like. You can go follow POS2 on X, on Twitter, however you want to call it, and to go follow me, Kamisama4E on Twitter as well. Thank you so much, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye. You are scared of playing against me, so it's fine, bro. You can go. You can go, bro.
Okay, I'm scared of playing.